It's very important for you to understand how to answer questions on summary writing, the WAEC standard, okay? The WAEC standard way of answering questions on summary writing. Okay, now summary writing is just meant to test your ability to understand a simple English text and your ability to use the English language. Okay, now when we get to the section on summary writing, the first thing you should do is to read the first paragraph of the passage, and this is also applicable to answering questions on comprehension passage. Okay, this is what I always advise my students to do. Whenever you have to read a passage and answer questions on it, you have to first read the first paragraph. Read the first paragraph of the passage to give you a fair knowledge of what the whole passage is all about. Now, after you've read the first paragraph of the passage, go and read the questions. Okay, go and read the questions to help you know what to look out for in the passage. Okay, and after you've read the first paragraph, read the question, now the next thing you should do is to read the entire passage. Read the entire passage. After you've read the entire passage and we are reading the passage, please read silently. Okay, read silently, don't point at words while reading. Read silently and read with rapt attention. Okay, because you are required to actually understand the full passage for you to have the ability to answer questions on it. Pay full attention to the passage while reading it. Don't point to words, okay? That will be distracting. And don't read aloud. Read the entire passage. Now we're reading the passage, okay? And you encounter some words that you're not familiar with. You don't have to bother your heads trying to find the meaning of the word, the individual word, okay? What you have to do is to look at the context, look at the sentence, okay? Take the sentence as a unit to enable you understand the meaning of the word. Okay. Now let's take for example this a sentence from 2016 past questions. Arable land may be grossly inadequate to support food production for the very large population. Okay. Now let's say you don't know the meaning of arable. Okay. Or arable land. You don't know what is an arable land. Now look at the rest of the sentence. May be grossly inadequate to support food production. Okay, so it should tell you that arable land is used in food production. Okay, is meant for production of food. So arable land is a land that is meant for farming. And you get the clue by reading the rest of the sentence. Okay, understanding the rest of the sentence will help you understand the meaning of arable land. So when you have a sentence, when you have a word that you're unfamiliar with, just try to understand the word based on the context. Okay, now that is it. Now it's time for you to answer questions on summary writing. This is where you have to be very careful. Now let me give you a checklist of the things you have to observe while answering questions on summary writing. Okay, now the first one is you have to make sure that you provide the accurate number of sentences. Okay, provide the accurate number of sentences. If you are asked to write in 3 sentences, make sure you write in 3 sentences. Okay, make sure you provide 3 sentences, not 4, not 2, 3. Okay, always obey the instruction. Accurate number of sentences. If you provide less than the required number of sentences, you'll be losing some marks. Okay, so it's important to provide the accurate number of sentences. Now the next thing is avoid direct lifting from the passage. This is very important. Okay, do not write verbatim what you see in the passage. Okay, do not lift the answer from the passage the way it is. Now for example, in 2016 the candidates were asked, the passage is about owning a desktop telephone. Okay, and comparison between a desktop telephone and the mobile telephone that we use these days. So the students were asked to um the students were asked in 3 sentences. 3 sentences. Okay, so you're going to provide 3 sentences if you are a candidate this year. 3 sentences. Okay, one for each. One for each. Summarize the problems associated with owning the desktop telephone. Okay, in 3 sentences, one for each. Summarize the problems associated with owning the desktop telephone. Okay, now you're going to provide 3 sentences. Okay, and you're going to provide 3 problems that are mentioned in the passage. Okay, and each sentence will have to contain one problem. Okay, that is mentioned in the problem that's associated with owning a desktop telephone. Okay, so you're going to provide three sentences, and each sentence will contain one problem that's associated with owning a desktop telephone. Okay, so you're not going to lift answer directly. Now if you go to a passage, another thing you should know is that in answering questions on summary writing in WAEC, okay, the answers to the earlier questions are usually found in the earlier part of the passage. Okay, the answers to the earlier questions are usually found in the earlier part of the passage. Now, this question is the first question. Okay, is the first question they say. Now we're going to go to the earlier part of the passage. Okay, which is in the second paragraph. Now the first sentence says. The first sentence in the second paragraph, the first paragraph is introductory paragraph. Okay, in the second paragraph, the first sentence in the second paragraph says, to obtain it, to obtain desktop telephone, one had to fill many forms and have three well-known citizens to attest to one's sterling qualities as a highly responsible member of the society. Okay, the things one has to do, one has to fill many forms, and also provide three known citizens that can attest to someone's sterling qualities. Okay, that can attest to someone's sterling qualities and sterling qualities as a highly responsible member of the society. So this tells you that to own a desktop telephone in those days, okay, requires rigorous process. Okay, it requires a lot of formalities. Instead of just lifting it like this, instead of just writing, to obtain it, one had to fill many forms and have one known citizen, etc. This is verbatim, this is direct lifting, and if you do such, you are going to score zero because you'll be giving the examiner the impression that you do not understand the passage. Okay, that you do not have understanding of what is said in the passage. So lifting the answer will make you score zero. Okay, it's important to not lift. So what you should do here is to say something like, the process of acquiring a desktop telephone is rigorous. So you can say something like that. Do not lift your answer verbatim. Okay, or you can say the formalities associated with owning a desktop telephone makes the process cumbersome. Okay, so make sure you don't lift your answer directly, just rephrase it. Okay, paraphrase it in your own words. Do not lift it. Paraphrase in your own words. Use your own words. Okay, in answering questions, and also make sure the information you are providing in the sentence is what you are being asked to provide. Okay, and is what is found in the text. Not because you're asked to rephrase or paraphrase. Okay, you then provide information that is not found in the passage. That won't be tolerated. You will be scoring zero. Okay, so it's important you paraphrase. Okay, and also make sure that the information you're providing in the sentence is what is found in the passage. Okay, and is the accurate information you are being asked to provide in the question. The information you're asked to provide in the question is what you are providing, and it's also what is found in the passage, and is not verbatim of what is written in the passage, but a paraphrased version of it. I hope you understood. So it's important to take note of this. A lot of people fail questions on summary writing because they do not have knowledge of this. So it's important to take note of this. Next one is, make sure your answers are brief. Okay, make sure your answers are brief. Okay, in asking questions on summary writing, make sure your answers are brief. You don't need the examples, you don't need the illustrations, the adjectives. Okay, other things that will make your answers to be long. Okay, you don't need all of those things. You need to cut them off. That's why it's called summary. Make sure your answers are brief and straight to the point. Okay, straight to the point. Do not bring in examples, adjectives that are used in the passage. Okay, those are not necessary. It's summary, so you just have to make your answers to be brief. Okay, now the next one is, write a complete sentence. Write a complete sentence. This is very important. Okay, make sure your sentence starts with a capital letter and also ends with a full stop. Okay, your answers should start with a capital letter and make sure it ends with a full stop as well. Okay, write a complete sentence. Next one is, do not start with so, so that, in order to, and ing words. Okay, do not start your sentence with let's say for example in our example sentence, in our example question, okay, we were asked to provide the disadvantage of owning a desktop telephone. Okay, you cannot say it will be wrong for you to say owning a desktop telephone is cumbersome. You don't have to start your sentence with a word that ends with ing, and don't say to own a desktop telephone you have to pass through many processes. Okay, do not start with to. Okay, do not start your sentence with to. Do not start your sentence with in order to. Okay, rather you should start your sentence with a noun or a noun phrase. Okay, a noun or a noun phrase. You can rather say something like the process involved in acquiring a desktop telephone is cumbersome. Okay, the process is a noun phrase. Okay, the process involved in acquiring a desktop telephone is cumbersome. So do not say something like acquiring a desktop telephone is cumbersome. You have to use a noun or a noun phrase. Okay, make sure you use a noun or a noun phrase. Now, lastly, use the same labeling. Okay, use the same labeling. Now, if the questions are labeled A, B, C, okay, when answering questions, make sure you also label A, B, C. If it's labeled in Roman figures, make sure you also label in Roman figures. Okay, make sure you also use the same labeling that is found in the question, and make sure that the tense that is in the question is also the tense you are using to answer the questions. Okay, the tense in the question is the same tense that is found in your answers. Okay, make sure you use the same tense, and after you've written your answers, please make sure you go back and read through your sentences to make sure you obey these rules. Okay, because grammatical mistakes or misspellings attract half a mark deduction. Okay, so make sure you go through the answers you provided to make sure you provided them in a complete sentence. The sentences are not lifted and there are no misspellings. The your sentence starts with a capital letter and there is a full stop at the end of your sentence. The grammar is correct and the tenses are also correct. Okay, so make sure you revisit your answers to detect any error. Okay, make sure you visit your answers. So that's all about how to answer questions on summary writing. Okay, now, another important thing is that Oracle encourages students to avoid using it, they, he, pronouns like she. Okay, so these pronouns, don't use them in answering your questions. You should rather use the name that is provided in the passage, okay, or the name of the group of people or the name of the objects. Use the name that is provided in the passage because using prepositions to rather make the sentence unclear. Okay, it's rather make the sentence unclear and might make it be misinterpreted. So I encourage students to avoid using prepositions. Okay, so you should also try to avoid using prepositions while answering questions in your summary writing. Okay, so that is it about how to answer questions on summary writing. I hope you understood it and you found it helpful. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys again very soon. Thank you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button, like the video, and please share the video to your friends, okay, on social media, on WhatsApp, Facebook, anywhere you can share the video. Okay, make sure you share the video to your friends. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.